All right, I'm gonna have everybody come on in and sit down. So yesterday, you made your food chain word pocket folders. So I need everybody to get those out. Okay, and in class, you were supposed to do the definition with an example on these small cards. And then you were doing the definition again with a picture on these cards. Okay, so make sure you have those done. We're going to go over all those and then we're going to do some examples. So the first one, I'm going to take out my cards that I have done. The first one is producer. Okay, what does somebody have on their card for producer? Very nice. A living thing that makes its own food. Do we have any examples of producers? I have a few on my card. What did we find when we did our own Google search? Okay, so we might have found a tree. We've talked about that a little bit. We've talked about photosynthesis. Okay, and I heard plants. So on this card, if you don't have any of those examples, right now would be a great time. So we have trees and plants. Those are two great examples, and those are for our producers. And as we go through each of them, because I want you to keep this in a safe spot, we're just going to put them right back in. Wonderful. Next we have prey. What does somebody have for prey? Okay, an animal that is hunted for its food, or for food. Okay, so what do you think of when I say prey? Give me an animal that might come to mind. Okay, zebra. I actually have that on my card. Who hunts a zebra? Okay, we might have a lion. That's a good one. What about, I have fish. Who might be like a predator to the fish? Okay, so humans, we go fishing. We eat them. Very nice. What else? Think of an animal. Okay, bears with salmon. Good job. And then I also had rabbits. What would eat a rabbit? Okay, maybe a fox. Very nice. So again, as we're doing these, put them back in your little folders that we made. They fit right in there for a reason. Okay, next we have, let's go to the next one. Let's do predator. What do you have for predator? Okay, an animal that hunts other animals for food. So we gave us a zebra. What would the zebra's predator be? Okay, a lion. What did we say for fish? We said humans or a bear. And then what did we say for rabbits? A fox. Very nice. So those two go hand in hand. Very nice. Let's move on to consumer and decomposer. These also go together, kind of. What's a consumer? Okay, a living thing that feeds on plants and animals. So we have 4 types, and I had you guys write down these 4 types instead of looking them up. We have omnivores, carnivores, herbivores, and decomposers. Now we should definitely know what an herbivore and a carnivore is. What's an herbivore? Yes, they do. They eat other animals. They eat meat. Can somebody give me an example of a carnivore that we have talked about? Any carnivore, fine. Okay, yes, we have lions, tigers. Yes, I see where you guys are going with this. Yeah. Now, what about decomposers? These are also consumers. Okay, so a living thing that breaks down dead plants and animals. What did we have for that? Okay, an earthworm. What else? Mushrooms. Okay, good job. So we have a lot of different options. And last we have food chain. So this is the order of how living things eat each other. So if I were to, and I'm going to take this down just a minute. If I were to look up, somebody give me Somebody give me something, let's see. Give me a location. Okay, so if we're doing the food chain let's do the ocean. That's a great one. So if we're doing this and we're looking at this image, yes, I will show you guys in just a minute. So I'm looking at this image. Okay, I'm gonna make it a little bigger. There we go. So if we're looking at this image right here, okay, we can see this, the way things go. Who do you think is going to be our biggest predator in the ocean? Okay, so we have a shark. Yep, we have a large shark. He's going to go to tuna, and then that's going to move up to mackerel and smaller fish. And then it's going to keep getting smaller and go all the way down to small organisms. This is the food chain. This is how things get eaten in the ocean. Somebody give me another example of a location. Okay, I heard the desert. So let's look at that. Now the desert's a little bit more complicated because there's a lot of predators in the desert and there's not a lot of prey. So it's going to be a little different than our ocean one. But it's still going to show us what that food chain ends up looking like. We're actually going to do this one. So if we're looking, and it even tells us what everything is. So kind of in the desert, because we don't have a lot of big animals there, right? So we have foxes and a golden eagle. Okay, they're going to eat scorpions and ground squirrels, but the scorpions can't eat the ground squirrels, can they? I mean, they can probably hurt them, I get it, but the ground squirrels are going to eat plants. Now, there's not a lot of plants to be eaten in the desert, so there's not going to be a whole lot of ground squirrels, just like there might not be a whole lot of grasshoppers, but that's why there's not a lot of animals in the desert. Now, if you look over here, it's telling us what each animal is. So we have a secondary carnivore, a primary carnivore, herbivores, and an autotroph. So we have a few different things. Now, I'm going to test you guys on how well you can set up your own food chain and how well you can set up your own location ecosystem. So the page you're going to go to on Google Classroom, it is a drag and drop presentation. So it says, how does matter cycle in an ecosystem? We're not going to really pay attention to the matter. We're going to pay attention to the producers, decomposers, and consumers. So it says, add clip art and labels to the picture. Explain how the tiger, so the tiger is going to be what? Will he be a prey or predator? He's going to be the main predator in this ecosystem. Explain how the tiger is part of the food chain that includes both plants and animals. What is our tiger going to eat? So this is in present mode. Obviously, you can't do this when you're in present mode, but I'm going to show you how you're going to do this. So along the bottom, you have, so along the bottom, you have fish, worm, deer, bear, and plants. So you actually have two pretty predominant predators, okay? And then you have your words producer, decomposer, and consumer, and you have your little arrows. So you're going to drag and drop the things along the bottom into the ecosystem. So if I was taking the plant, is the plant going to be eaten by the tiger? Probably not. What about the deer? Okay, so the deer might be eaten by the tiger. That would be a good assumption for us to make, okay? So you're going to, and I want you to do this in a specific order. I want you to put the plants, boar, deer, worm, and fish. I want you to do that first. Then you're going to draw your arrows. And then you're going to say who's a producer, who's a decomposer, and who's a consumer. What's one decomposer we know for sure because we just talked about it? Yes, the worm. So, and we've done tons of these drag and drops. So hold on. Yep, you're just going to click it and drag it. Okay. Now, when you're done with this, you're going to go back into Google Classroom and hit submit so I can see your progress. You all have your own copy, so you can place it right on here. Then you're going to start your main project for the unit. So what you're going to do is you're going to come up with an imaginary ecosystem. Okay? They do not have to be real animals. They do not have to be real plants. But you need to show, and then you're also going to have to explain your food chain. So if I'm doing this and I say I'm going to do dinosaurs, because they're not around anymore, so it kind of is imaginary. Yes, we've had them once, but I'm going to make up my own dinosaurs. If I have a dinosaur with super, super sharp teeth and claws, they're not going to be my prey. They're going to be my predator. They're going to be my carnivore. They're going to eat the meat. If I have a dinosaur with, kind of nubby teeth, kind of slower, they don't have really good protections, they're going to be my herbivore and they're going to be the prey. Okay? So it has to make sense, and you're going to have to relay that to your fellow classmates. Okay? So when you are done doing your drag and drop, you're going to go back into Google Classroom, and there is a form for you to fill out. I have some printed too if you want to use the printed versions instead. And you're going to be creating your own ecosystem. So come up with, you will have to draw pictures. I know it's not the funnest thing. Mine will be stick pictures, I promise. But you're going to come up with your ecosystem. You need at least, use this as a guide, you need at least 5 to 6 things / animals, plants / animals. Okay? And you're going to show the food chain in your ecosystem. So you're going to say what they eat, and then you need to label them an herbivore or a carnivore. Okay? So I'm going to have you guys get started. If you have questions on your drag and drop, please let me know. But again, you cannot be in present mode when you drag and drop because it's not going to work. So you guys get started, and I will come around and see who needs help.